Good day to you, sir. This is Leighton Contreras from 3M. And now I'm going to discuss about the chapter 1 and 2 under the subject of fire protection and arson investigation. Now, from the word itself, arson, we're talking about the fire itself. Fire, what is fire? Fire is the manifestation of rapid chemical reaction occurring between a fuel and an oxidizer. Typically, the oxygen in the air. Such rapid chemical reactions releases energy in the form of heat and light. Now let's move to pyrolysis. What is pyrolysis? Pyrolysis is the decomposition of matter through the action of heat. In this case, the decomposition causes a change from a solid state to vapor state of the vapor mixes sufficiently with the air and heated to high temperature. Kumbaga, sa pyrolysis, best example of this is like after masunog ang isa ka solid state using the fire, like we have these ashes. So these ashes is a state from the solid state na kumbaga nagawa o na maging resulta after this fire. Now let's move to the combustion. Combustion is sustaining chemical reaction producing energy of products that cause more reaction of the same kind, commonly known as burning. Basing from the example above, like itong posporo, this combustion is ito yung tinatawag na apoy. Like kung ano yung pressure na ibinibigay ng isang apoy. Yes. And flame. Let's move to flame. Flame are incandescent gases which accompanies burst or rapid oxidation of any combustible material. That burning gas or vapor of a fire that is visible as light of various colors. Flame, from the word itself, flame, ito yung apoy na nakikita natin sa ating mga nakita natin in the naked eye. Iba't ibang klase yung apoy. It depends the color or the hot, basing from the hottest color sa flame. Like we have blue, green, red, and orange. Now let's move to the three states of matter, which are identified as solid, liquid, and gas. Base dito sa larawan, nakikita natin like walang space of molecules ang isang solid. Kaya sa ikukumpara natin dito sa liquid, like ang daming space na pwede pang kalalagyan, kaya matatawag natin siyang liquid. And of course sa gas naman, meron siyang tinatawag na like base dito sa mga dots, like ang dami pang space na pwedeng kalalagyan. So these are the example of gas, solid, and liquid. Talking about the fire triangle versus fire tetrahedron. The graphical representation of these three elements of fire, which are like paano ba napoproduce? Like ito yung tanong, paano ba napoproduce ang isang apoy? Bakit siya nagsusustain, or kung bakit ito nagtatagal? We have the composition of fire para meron siyang tinatawag na sustainability kung ito ay nag-aapoy na. First, we have this oxygen, heat, and fuel. Like kung isa dito is mawawala, hindi nagsusustain yung apoy. Yes, hindi nagsusustain yung apoy. And fire tetrahedron naman. Fire tetrahedron is the fourth element of the tetrahedron explanation is known as, tinatawag itong chemical reactivity or chemical reaction. Like sa we have the fire triangle, kung paano nabubuo yung apoy or yung fire, is it composes of fire, oxygen, and fuel. Yung tetrahedron naman, kung nandito yung tatlo, nagbubuo ito ng fire tetrahedron o tinatawag nating chemical reaction. Ito po yun, base po to sa pag-iintindi ko, is ito po yun. If the process is confined with pressure, it is called explosion. And if the combustion propagates at supersonic speed, it produces a detonation. Pag sa explosion daw, pag ito ay nakapaglaman ng isang pressure, siguradong may magre-resultang explosion na magaganap. Like, whereas sa tinatawag namang combustion, kumbaga, kinahanglanon yun nga na ay supersonic speed to produce this detonation. Kumbaga, pressure, or ito yung pressure na binibigay ng apoy. Let's talk about the components and elements of fire. Fire tetrahedron. The same lang sa kanina sa pinapakita ng larawan kanina. We have the oxygen, fuel, and heat. Sabi na nga dito sa book, or based from the example of these materials, hindi nagsusustain yung apoy pag isa sa tatlong properties paano nabubuo yung apoy is wala dito. Like, kung walang heat, fire doesn't exist. Pag walang fuel, fire doesn't exist also. And para siyang sarcastic, pero ito yung binubuo, ito yung mga properties para maging sustainable yung isang apoy. Properties of fire. We have, in physical properties, we have this specific gravity, vapor density, and temperature, and boiling point, and fire point, and flash point. First, we have here a specific gravity, the ratio of the weight of a solid or a substance to the weight of an equal volume of water. This is what we call the specific gravity. Sa vapor density naman, the weight of volume of pure gas compared to weight of volume of dry air. Magdidepende. Like, the weight of volume of pure gas compared to weight of volume of dry air at the same temperature and pressure. Dito naman let's move sa vapor pressure. The force exerted by the molecules on the surface of the liquid at the equilibrium. We have this temperature, measure of the thermal degree of the agitations of molecules of a given substance. The measure and boiling point, constant temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure. Next is ignition, kindling temperature, a minimum temperature at which the substance must be heated in order to initiate combustions. Fire point, a particular material, is the lowest temperature at which the vapor of a substance can keep burning even if we remove the ignition source. the last one is the flash point. Flash point of the particular material is the lowest temperature of which vapor of the material undergoes ignitions in the presence of ignition source. Let's see for the example of here in our reference. It says that when water is heated and reaches its boiling point at 100 degrees Celsius, it starts to vaporize the water vapor, or we can call this a gas. Just above the surface of the liquid, water reaches a vapor pressure of 81 atm, which is equal atmospheric pressure, which means the water molecules on the surface of the water will rise into and maintain equilibrium with the atmosphere. Yung nakapansin ta, like kung mag-init kita ng water sa heater, yung umaangat na usok sa nagbukaw na tubig, that's what we call the boiling point or the water vapor, or which commonly known as gas. After, like sa example dito sa larawan nito, when identifying the evaporating things, like nagsisimula pag-create ng molecules pag ito ay bibigyan ng init, like nabibigyan ito ng init sa loob ng container. And after that pressure in the liquid gas, mapupunta ito sa itaas, which is the evaporations mid and has reached equilibrium with the liquid surface, and it's said to have reached saturation. And now let's move to discuss the chemical properties that divided into 4 categories. The chemical properties has divided into 4 categories. First is the endothermic reaction. Endothermic reactions changes whereby energy or heat is absorbed or it added vapor reaction takes place. Endothermic reaction changes whereby energy is absorbed or added before the reaction takes place. That is the endothermic. Energy change before the reactions takes place. Sa exothermic naman, exothermic reaction, from the word itself, exo, this is to release, give off energy, or produce substances with less energy than the reactants. Exothermic, para mas dali masabtan, we have to choose that exothermic is to release or give energy to produce substances with less energy than the reactant. Oxidation. Oxidation is a chemical change that is exothermic, which combustible and the oxidation. Oxidation material or fuel and oxidizing agent in air react. Example of oxidation is combustions, which is the same as actual burning. The 4th chemical properties is we have flames. Flames are incandescent, very bright, browning, intense, and heat gases. It is combustion's product and a manifestation of fire when it isn't gas-based combustion. Types of flames. Based on the color and completeness of the combustibility of fuel, it has 2 types of flames, the luminous and the non-luminous. These luminous flames are orange red deposits south of the bottom of the vessel, being heated due to the incomplete combustions and has a low temperature. Luminous flame, like this are normal fire na makikita natin, like from seeing a fire from the candle, sa posporo, sa kahoy. These are examples of the luminous flame. Non-luminous flame is the hottest types of fire, and there is complete combustion of fuel and has relatively high temperature. Pagtaas yung temperatura na ibibigay sa isang apoy, like as we can notice sa gasol, like pag nagluluto tayo, pag after natin ma-on, makikita natin yung apoy, it composes of different colors of heat sa isang apoy. It has blue, green, red, and orange. Ito naman yung tinatawag na non-luminous flame. Based on the smoothness, we have the laminar flame and the turbulent flame. Laminar flame, when a particle follows a smooth path through a gaseous flame. Like, kumbaga yung pressure sa apoy nito is smooth lang, parang siyang luminous flame o luminous fire. Luminous flame, tama. Na normal lang, at saka may like ang dali-dali ano tawag nito, like masabod ng hangin, kaya wala may pressure of na gina-create ang apoy. Let's move to the turbulent flame. Turbulent flame are those having unsteady, irregular as physical size and gas density velocities increased. All laminar gas flows tend to become turbulent. Yung turbulent at saka laminar. Now let's move to chapter 2. Fire elements composed of fuel, heat, and oxygen. Fuel is the combustible substances that burn into air to produce light and heat are called combustible substances. Para mas madaling maintindihan, pag sinasabing combustible substances, these are fire or flames in air to produce the light, heat, and combustible substances. Classification of combustible materials, we have Class A, Class A, B, C, and D. Class E is ordinary fires, and they are the types of fire resulting from the burning wood, paper, textiles, rubber, and other carbonaceous materials in short. Class E fire, ito yung like pag magluto kita, mo lagi madali na pagsabtan. Sa Class B fire naman, they are caused by the flammable or combustible liquids such as the kerosene, gasoline, benzene, oil products, and alcohol, and other other hydrocarbon deviation. Sa Class B naman, mas nabibigyan, like sa class B types of fire, mas nabibigyan ng madaling apoy, madaling pag-create ng apoy, at mataas na temperatura at pressure pag ginagamitan natin to ng gasoline. So si gasoline, benzene oil, products, kerosene are classified as the type B of fire or Class B fire. Sa Class C naman, these are fires or heat temperatures made by fryers, electrical wires, equipment, motors, electrical appliances, and telephone switchboards. Like sa panahon ngayon, mayroon na tayong stove na gamit lang yung kuryente. At saka sa Like sa technology, fire produces through the use of electricity. And that is the class C types of fire. Class D naman, let's move to class D. We have these metallic fires. Fires that results the combustions of certain metals in finely divided form. And these combustible materials include magnesium, potassium, powdered calcium, zinc, sodium, and titanium. The solid fuels. Types of flammable solid. We have pyrolyzable solid fuels that many of the ordinary accepted combustibles wood, paper, and so on. So tinatawag po siyang pyrolyzable solid fuels. We have also a non-pyrolyzable solid fuels, and this solid fuels that are difficult to ignite. Example, sa non-pyrolyzable solid fuels, we have charcoal, o mas kilalang tawag dito sa atin na oling. A common example in charcoal is decompositions does not occur because there are no pyrolyzable elements that presents in that certain material. Sa non-pyrolyzable solid fuels, mas madali natin intindihin pag tinatawag natin siyang oling o charcoal na dili maka-create ng apoy through the use itself. Kumbaga, binibigyan ng mataas na temperatura pag ginamitan ng charcoal. The following are the group of solid fuels. We have the biomass, fabrics, plastics, coal, and peat. First, we have to discuss the biomass. It is the name given to such replaceable organic matters like wood, garbage, and animal manure that can be used to produce energy. From the word itself, bio means life. Na lahat ng nakikita natin, pwede natin itong magamit o mas kilalang mas tawag na biomass. We have these bottles, rubbers. Ito yung isa sa mga apoy or flames na nakakasira sa ating pangangatawan. Now let's move to fabric and textiles. A fiber is very fine, thin strand or thread-like object. And plastics, cellulose, nitrate, cellulose nitrate, as a chemical powder used in bombs, and they are also called pyroxylene. We also have the two general groups of liquid fuels. The flammable liquid, they are the liquid having a flash point of 37.8 degrees Celsius and the vapor pressure is not exceeding 40 PSI or 37.8 degrees Celsius. Mas madali nang intindihan, di na kailangan na explanation. Let's move sa gas fuels. Gaseous fuels are those in which molecules are in rapid movements and random motions. They have no different height, shape, or volume, and assume that the shape and volume of their container, and they are both natural and manufactured flammable gases through business. Gas fuels. We have classification of gases based on the sources. We have the natural gas. This natural gas used to heat buildings, cook food, and provide energy for the industries. Butane and propane, which make a small proportion of natural gas, become liquid when placed under the large amount of pressure. When pressure is released, they change back to gas, and such fuels, often called liquefied petroleum gas or liquefied natural gas, are easily stored and shipped out as liquid. Classification according to the physical properties. We have the compressed gas, liquefied gas, and cryogenic gas. In compressed gas, gas in which all normal temperature inside the container exists holding the gaseous state other than pressure. We have the cryogenic gas or the liquefied gas which exists in its container at temperature far below normal atmospheric temperature. Thank you for listening. God bless.